Hey guys, welcome back to Puffalada. And welcome back to Café Enchanté. Oh lord. Kotone is going to be a snowman by the time we start this episode because things are not good. She was thrown into Bestia somehow with Kororo. So, God, help me. Let's just get right into it. Oh.
何もしない。平気。任せて。恩を返さないと。
Okay. Do I trust this person? Is it the same? Like, it can't be the rabbit lady, right? But this looks so familiar. Ignis? I walked and walked, looking for one of the Minotaur strongholds Dromi found near the border. I arrived before our meeting time, so I poked my head in and explored a bit.
もぬけの殻だな。匂いもしねえし、隠れてるわけでもなさそうだ。くそ、牛肉ども。散々暴れて広げた縄張りを放置してどこ行きやがった。
The place's proximity to the border meant it was smaller than some of the other ones. But to the Minotaurs, the stronghold was enough of a prize of their victory. A monument to their brutalism. It's vile, but that's why it's unthinkable that they would simply take off.
やっぱ、ほとんどが人間界に。いや、あのでかい図体の連中が潜伏できそうな場所なんて、あの町にはねえし。
In which case?
ホールが発生しやすい場所に縄張りを作って、毎回そこから戦力を送ってる。って考えんのが妥当か。
How was I supposed to negotiate with them if they were nowhere to be found? Pointless.
ああ、くそ。匂いも残ってねえし、俺だけじゃここで手詰まりだな。いっそアルムムの行方じゃなくて、あいつらが通れそうなでけえホールを探してみっか。
Even if I were to do so, I can't throw my weight around with beasts too intimidated to deny me if I question them. In which case, I hate to say it, I need that stupid tiger.
ドローミの野郎はどこで道草食ってやがる。とっくにここについててもおかしくねえ頃合いだってのに。
Maybe he's being chased by some beast again. I was starting to get a bad feeling, but no matter where I went, he always seemed to find me with important info. Instead of waiting for him here and wasting even more time, maybe I should take action. Something rumbled beneath my feet. It wasn't that the frozen water shook, but more like someone was knocking on the ice right below me. What could it be? I peeked down below. Beneath the ice floor, I could make out a slight familiar cry. Oh, fuck! Kotone is down underneath the frickin' house? I slowly came to, feeling the warmth gradually return to my extremities. Given the environment, the piercing cold was inescapable. At the very least, I could breathe without pain, and I no longer shivered. I'm alive. Which is a miracle. I opened my eyes, only to realize I was inside of an igloo. Am I on the inside of a beast's stronghold? I stood up, and I see that someone had tucked me into a thick blanket. Is this beast fur? It seems that my survival against the unforgiving cold was all thanks to this blanket. I wonder who gave me this. Now then, where was I anyway? Half scared, I glanced around the igloo's interior. Then I eyed the exit. Ah! Hello. I make eye contact with a small, young boy who was unlike other beast children. He didn't resemble the bunnies. Instead, he had a pair of fuzzy ears and a wispy tail like a fox. Although he was watching me closely, which I took to mean he stood guard, he showed reluctance to approach me. Were you the one that saved me?
Mm.
Okay. Thanks, you saved my life. He nodded plainly, and although he was, for the most part, expressionless, I detected no hostility from him. Then the other beasts of adult age entered. They poked their heads through the entrance. They acted cautiously, half out of concern for me and half for themselves. Whoa! What about Kororo? I fully came to and raised my voice. Someone came rushing inside from outside of the igloo, shoving the beasts out of his way.
琴音、なんでお前がここに
I could cry, Ignis. I could cry. Ignis, Kororo! The firewolf, the man I wanted to see, came rushing in. In his hand held Kororo. According to Kororo, this hideout was situated near one of the Minotaur strongholds that Ignis was after. Once I had been taken into this hideout, Kororo searched for Ignis, swimming through the sea to find him. Ignis noticed Kororo underneath the ice floor and was guided here. In turn, I told Ignis about how I was tossed into the gate to Bestia. After I finished my story, Ignis sat, disheartened.
前に起きたゲートの不具合や天崎島の時とは別みてえだな。明らかに人為的なもんだ。
Yes, I hadn't even entered the gate room in the first place. I think someone entered Enchanté through the gate and dragged me here. I figured that the only person capable of taking me to Bestia had to be a beast from here.
店にいた箱入りやカヌスが敵意に気づかなかったとなると。かなりの手だれか。
Cage bird.
そいつの姿や声は
No, they covered my eyes and mouth. They didn't say a word either. I was assaulted from behind too. I don't even think Kororo, who was in my arms, saw them.
これまでの経緯を考えるに、アルムムの可能性が一番高いだろうが。
I don't know about that. I feel like a Minotaur would have, crushed stuff.
連中のあの図体じゃ、アンシャンテのゲートはくぐれねえよな。
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. You're right. They'd probably get stuck in the door. It was a comical but surreal thought. I pulled up the covers as they slid down my shoulders. I took a deep breath, happy to be liberated from the hellish cold. I could finally stretch my fingers as they warmed. Oh, by the way, any idea why the beasts decided to save me? The beasts whose custody I was in didn't seem much like a warring tribe. I wondered if I threatened them. As I contemplated the thought, the boy near the entrance spoke up at last.
匂い
Huh?
匂いがついてた。そこのイグニスの。
Ignis's scent? Is that why he saved me? What did it all mean?
なんつうか。俺はこっちで喧嘩の他にも、地元やこいつらみてえな魔獣の用心棒みたいなのをしててな。
Oh, that's why you kept traveling back and forth to Bestia.
ああ。つっても、俺が勝手に、独善的にやってることだ。接触したところでビビらせるだけだし、直接会話をすることはほとんどねえんだけどよ。
うん。最初は怖かったよ。あなたのこと。でも、今は違う。
は？
Ignis's eyes lit up at the boy's fragmented yet sincere remark.
噂で聞いた。あなたが不殺の魔獣で、そこのパークスを助けるためにアルムムと戦ったって。それを聞いて自分が恥ずかしくなった。僕たちだって昔あなたにアルムムに全員狩られそうなところを助けてもらったのに。
Why are the Minotaurs such pieces of shit?
一方的に怖がってそれからも守ってもらってたのにお礼も言わなかった。だから少しでもその償いと恩返しができればってその子を助けたんだ。
After hearing the boy's story, Ignis marched over to him. With his big, rugged hands, he patted the boy's head.
恩だの償いだのガキが細けいことを気にすんな。けどありがとよ。お前が現れずこいつがあのまま死んでたら俺は死んでも死にきれねえほど後悔してた。
The boy placed his hand on the area where Ignis had just patted him. Frail beast boy? You couldn't give him a name? Like...
役に立てたならよかった。
He smiled joyfully. Then, the snowfall began to lighten up, and I exited the igloo with Ignis, noticing someone running towards us.
兄貴こんなとこにいたんすね。お待たせしてすみませんす。
本当に遅えよ。
いや途中で吹雪にあってついうっかり迷子にってあれなんで店主さんがここにそれにコロロまで。
Kororo frowned as soon as Dromi approached us. Oh, it's a bit of a long story and a little bit complicated.
はあ、そりゃ災難っすね。アンシャンテの中にさえいれば安全だと思ってたっすのに。
See, like, I don't like the way that he worded that. I don't know, maybe I'm just being nitpicky and it's just because I don't like him, but he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, why can't he show, like, actual concern? I feel like it was terrifying. She could have died.
てか、店主さんに起きたこと考えると、アンシャンテのゲートの位置、その犯人の魔獣に割れてるんじゃ。
Oh, that's true.
くそ、新しい問題か。だが何をするにも今日はもう遅いし。仕方ね。俺の地元で一泊すっか。
Village? You mean wherever you come from is close to the settlement?
ああ、それにここに泊まったらまた前みてえに周りを俺の騒動に巻き込む可能性もあるしな。
本当はゲートに戻るのが一番なんすけど、ここからじゃ微妙に遠いっすからね。天候も不安定っす。
Yes, I understand. We are in your debt for the night. I wish that Koro just grew a sharper horn so that she could just headbutt the crap out of Dromi. Afterwards, I gave the young beast boy my thanks for saving me, and I bid the others goodbye. We set out into the icy world to head to Ignis's hometown. I wrapped myself in the woolly blanket which the boy had given to me. It was the only deterrent against the unruly Bestian winds, and I tagged close behind Ignis. From time to time, Ignis and Dromi would spot my footing, and we would take breaks here and there to rest. We made our way through a narrow, winding path, climbing through glacial mountains and ice blocks. The layers of snow and ice darkened. This mysterious place seemed out of reach for explorers. Oh! Unlike the rest of what I'd seen here, settlements comprised of snow and ice. Though throughout the exterior and interior of the settlements, everywhere I looked, I saw fire, a spectacle I'd never laid my eyes on. I had the feeling that this place was special. This is...
ああ、俺の地元、ヴィニトルの縄張りだ。
Oh, very cool.
ああ、ちなみに俺も普段はここに世話になってるっす。
As we chatted at the entrance.
おお、イグニスか。こんな夜更けに襲撃かと思わず身構えたぞ。
It was an older person, probably in his 50s. He strangely resembled Ignis, but the fire covering his body was noticeably weaker. He appeared to be a fellow firewolf.
急に悪いな、おじき。空いてる寝床があれば一つ貸してくれねえか。
それはもちろん構わんが。
Oh my god, it's his uncle! We're meeting his family! The man Ignis addressed as his uncle eyed me with Kororo nestled in my arms. Oh, good evening. Ignis has been treating me kindly.
ああ、どうもご丁寧に。少なくとも凶暴な魔獣ではなさそうだが。お嬢さん、イグニスとはどんな関係で？
Huh? I was unsure of how to respond. What should I say? Under normal circumstances, I would say he's a regular at my cafe, and that would be the end of it, but I don't think anyone, or Ignis has told anyone about Enchanté, has he? We can let him respond, or we can make up a story. I feel like we should make up a story, because Ignis, I feel like Ignis, like, wants Kotone to be more, like, into him or something, so maybe if she came up with something good. I don't know, I just want to see what she says for the story, so let's do it. A light bulb went off in my head. My connection with Ignis outside of Enchanté was bundled in my arms. We're taking care of this little guy who we found abandoned.
ああ、まあ、そんな感じだ。
It looks like he liked that. I raised Kororo up as we offered our explanation, hoping he would take it.
なんだこれは。一瞬雪の塊かと思ったが。
So rude! He's a baby of a species known as sea beasts.
おお、これが噂の幸運の象徴だという。こんな辺境で見かけることができるとは。
His uncle's fascination shifted from me to Kororo in an instant. He examined Kororo, touching his blubber rolls with great intrigue.
うまいこと言ったな。下手な言い訳は余計に詮索されちまうからな。
Oh man, it really was like a fucking, like, just how do you know my son kind of thing. I guess we're lucky to have Kororo with us.
イグニスの知人ということであれば、寝床の一つや二つ喜んで貸そう。代わりと言ってはなんだが、イグニス、もう少しこっちに戻ってくる頻度を増やせんか。
ああ、それは。
こんな秘境にわざわざ来る魔獣はおらんだろうが、過去のこともある。いざという時にお前がいないとなると。
わかった、善処するよ。
With that, the man arranged for a pair of igloos for us to use as lodging for the night. But something peculiar caught my attention. I surveyed the compound as we were escorted. Even considering that it was past midnight, the firewolf population here was dramatically lower than I'd expect of a place this big. If I had to guess, I would say I saw no more than 20 firewolves at most. But they all had one thing in common. I feel like everybody's shocked to see you, Ignis.
俺はめったにこっちに戻ってこねえからな。ここにいるのが単に物珍しいんだろ。それにヴィニトルはいろいろあって基本そんな好戦的な魔獣じゃねえんだ。だから喧嘩っ早い上に最強の魔獣だのを名乗ってる俺には近づきづれえんだろうな。
He mentioned that the only person he could be himself around was the man guiding us. He trusted the man who he referred to as his uncle. I never knew he had a guardian. Ignis told all of this to me casually, a conversational aside as we walked. But for me, it began to stir some complex feelings inside of me.
よいしょっと。これだけの毛皮があれば店主さんもあったかいっすかね。
Please don't share a room with us. Just leave. Indeed, those should be more than enough. Thanks for bringing them over to me, Drami.
お礼は無用っす。店主さんにはいつも美味しいアイスとコーヒーをもらってるんで。 ところでその床にいるコロロがっすね、完全に俺を標的と定めてじわじわ近づいてきてんすけど、
Get his ass, Koro. Get him.
できれば噛まないように店主さんから言ってもらえると助かるっす。
Bite his dick off, Koro. I'm just rooting Koro on. Just when I take my eyes off you. Bad boy, Koro. Koro backed away, slightly discouraged. But thankfully, it was enough to deter him. He retreated playfully, sparing Dromi from his vicious crawl.
助かったっす。
I'm so sorry about Koro. Oh, by the way, which igloo is Ignis staying at? Shortly after I was escorted to my igloo, he hurried outside. Was he already asleep?
ああ、兄貴なら縄張りの外で見張りっすね。
Standing watch?
そうっす。他の凶暴な魔獣がここを嗅ぎつけてないか確認してるんす。多分さっきここへ来るのに通った道にいるんじゃないっすかね。
I see.
じゃ、俺は自分の寝床に戻るっす。2つ隣の雪道にいるんで、なんかあれば呼んでくださいっす。
Okay, bye. Get out. You can go to sleep here if you're so sleepy, Koro. I'm going outside for a little bit. I wrapped a blanket around myself and ambled onto the snowy road. Midway, I made contact with an ice block and gasp at its coldness. I spot the werewolf, whose flames stuck out like a sore thumb in a sea of white. He wasn't doing much of anything. He stood in an upright position, gazing up at the evening sky absent-mindedly. Without saying a word, I approached him. I stood beside Ignis, as if to mimic him. I look up at the sky. Mimic? Oh, yep. Snowflakes continued to float down from the sky. They were like translucent snow crystals, illuminating in the moonlight like jewels. Bestia's sky is beautiful at this time of night.
こんな血生臭い世界が綺麗な。んなこと言うやつ初めて見たぜ。こんなとこに来ていいのかよ。ようやく落ち着ける場所につけたってのに。明日は起きてすぐゲートへ戻るんだから早めに寝ろよな。
Yes, of course. I'll head right back, but I just wanted to check up on you. Shouldn't you sleep too, Ignis?
ああ、いわゆる寝ずの番ってやつだな。心配しなくても一徹や二徹程度は魔獣にとっちゃ大した影響ねえよ。
I see. That's good, I think. Achoo! In my case, not so much. The scattered glaciers which dotted the range intensified the chill of the winds blowing through them.
言わんこっちゃねえ。つってもここじゃあな。
He trails off, taking a minute to look at our surroundings. I wasn't sure how much longer I could handle.
当たり前だが何もねえか。しゃあねえ。だったらこれが一番マシか。
Picture get! Oh, look at them! They're so cute together. I love this so much. Ah! Okay. Without asking for consent.
ほらよ。こんなら寒くねえだろ。
Oh my god, Ignis, you're so... Ah! Oh my god. He is forceful, not so much aggressive as it was confident as he pulled me into him. My body was being gently embraced by Ignis.
もし暑かったら言えよ。一応問題ない程度にしてるけどよ。
As soon as I made contact with his body, thank you. I was enveloped in warmth in more ways than one. He stared longingly at my face for a few moments.
あの時俺を探しに来たコロロの必死な様子を見て、お前が一人でこのベスティアにいるって思って心臓が凍りついた。
He spoke from his heart softly, candidly.
お前がどこぞの魔獣に殺されちまったんじゃねえかって。そんな光景を想像するだけでなりふり構わず吠えそうになっちまった。ことね、お前ちゃんとここにいんだな。この残酷な世界に食われねえで俺の隣でちゃんと生きてんだよな。
Ignis, as if to reaffirm his notions, pulls me closer into him. I notice his arms trembled against me. Yes, I'm alive. Thanks to the young fox boy. No, thanks to your mercy and commitment to peace. To relieve him of his anxieties, this time I nestle my body into his.
そうか。俺の終わりのねえ喧嘩がお前の命をつなげたってなら、まあ上々だよな。少なくとも無意味にはならねえ。
Look at this! Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Oh. A lifetime of fighting. I let his sentiment sink in for a moment as I pressed in closer. Hey, why are there so few firewolves who live in the stronghold?
ああ、ほとんどが殺されたからだな、昔に。今じゃまともに戦える男は俺ぐらいしか残ってねえ。だからベスティアへ戻ってきた時にはこうやって見張りの番を引き受けてんだ。
That was my first inclination, and I anticipated his confirmation. Hearing it come out of his mouth, I couldn't shake the grief welling in my chest. Still, I want to get to know Ignis more. I want to know why he expressed so much contempt for this world, for his home from time to time. So I composed myself, hoping I wasn't prying too much.
話すのは構わねえさ。ただ辛くなったら言えよ。途中でもやめっから。
Okay. Just as I was about to ask, Ignis seemingly read my expression. He began to open up, unraveling his tragic history. And we're gonna stop here. It's too much, Ignis. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But I definitely... Oh, God. I want to know. I am so curious. Tell us about the fucking firewolves. Like, what happened? Why is the world the way it is? Like, where did Dromi come from? He's not even a firewolf. He's like a distant cousin? I don't understand. Next episode, I guess, we'll continue this fluffy stuff, and Ignis will tell us, I guess, what happened to his family.